Hello friends and family, and welcome to Moving Day of the 2023 Portland Open presented by Latitude 64. This coverage is brought to you by Ace Run Pro, and this is the FPO Chase card. We are playing at Glendoveer in Portland, Oregon. My name is Holly Finley.
And I'm Connor O'Reilly, and we are super excited to be over on the east side of this property. To me, it's the course out of the two that has a little more character. It's a little more well thought out throughout the entire track. Forces you into some different shots. The west feels like it gets a little repetitive at times, but this is really a true championship golf course style course, and excited to watch our card we have here. Some legends in the game.
On this card we have world champion Paige Pierce, multi-time world champion. Next up, we have Missy Gannon, known for her putting skills, member of Discraft's elite team.
Third on the card, we'll have our first look this season at Rachel Turton, I believe a player from Canada.
United Kingdom,
my bad. And Ohn Scoggins rounding out the card. It's been a couple too many rounds since we've had Ohn, so excited to watch her shape those forehands and bang some big putts for us.
Let's check out hole one. Par 4, 590 feet, a giant turnover off the tee. You have this out of bounds green, then you have this hazard sand bunker, not to mention the fairway is aligned with out of bounds on both sides, all the way down around the back of the basket. You can get your second shot to land a little short, possibly pitch up and play for par, but this is a very fast
up first to tee out of Pensacola, Florida, sponsored by Discraft. Put your hands together for Paige Pierce.
Paige up first with a right hand backhand turnover. It is safe.
Up next on the box, out of Beacon, New York, sponsored by Discraft and Grip Equipment. Let's make some noise for Missy Gannon.
I really like that hole one forces you into a difficult shot in order to score a birdie. And even the par can feel a little bit stressful. So right off the bat, you got to play a high level shot here on our championship track. Paige and Missy both hanging out on the right side, pinched off angle.
Your next competitor, throwing prodigy discs, representing Ace Disc Golf, out of St. Andrews, United Kingdom. Put your hands together for Rachel Turton.
Do you know anything about Rachel's game?
I played with her yesterday, actually.
Is that a one finger forehand I saw?
I don't know the grip, but she can throw about 420.
And rounding out your chase card, out of Los Angeles, California, throwing Innova champion discs. Give it up for Ohn Scoggins.
Ohn Scoggins coming off of a major win last weekend from the Tim Selinsky in Eugene, Oregon.
If Turton's thrown 420 on a forehand, that's a massive tool on some of this FPO design.
Backhand. 400 to 420 backhand, and her sidearm, I'd say, is about 350.
Still, that's
and she works a full-time job. She's just here doing a short tour, and then she's going to actually borrow her brother's van and do a mini tour in Europe for the first time.
Okay, I saw there. She has the stacked index finger that's kind of pinched in. That's what looked a little odd to me, but another forehand shows that she has a lot of trust in that.
Missy Gannon choosing a turnover shot after ending up on the right side of the fairway, and she has hyzered out of bounds on her upshot.
Yeah, that spot Missy and Paige are in takes a really high level shot in order to score a birdie, and hole one is playing as the hardest hole on the course, so not one you you necessarily need to score on. But we all want every birdie every time we step on the track, so it's hard to say no.
Paige was opting for a turnover shot, but she didn't quite execute the angle. It also hyzered out of bounds. Now we're up to Ohn Scoggins. Going with another sidearm.
Turfs it, but gets a good skip and a second one. Wow. That
She
was pretty fortunate.
trimmed the tip of the grass. Did you see how low that was?
That was very fortunate. Maybe
Even
there's
Worms got a haircut on that one.
that Masters champ love rubbing off this weekend. 3 for 3 forehands for Turton. This one tests the tower, but it's going to be a long putt. Let's see what her stroke looks like.
That's the thing about this green, you know, when you're approaching it from back there in the fairway, you can't really tell the slope. You know, you kind of, for me, we're not here enough that I remember I can just lay it up short of the basket, which is actually way better than going behind the basket.
Yeah, most players, unless they really doubled up on practice rounds or just prioritize the East course, only will have 2 rounds maximum out here, maybe a third if they really put a lot of strain on their bodies. So we know the courses, but we're not as intimate as a lot of weeks when we just have one to practice.
Ohn sends her birdie putt but does not connect, and now she'll have an outside the circle comeback for par. And this is Rachel from outside the circle for par. She misses her putt as well. Ohn Scoggins from 33. It's good.
33, but 8 feet up the hill. That was a amazing putt to start the round. Taking advantage of that good fortune.
Rachel capturing a bogey here on hole 1.
And we told you guys it was the hardest hole on the course today. Only saw 3 birdies from Sai Ananda, Katrina Allen, and Jessica Weiss. Great birdies, ladies.
I'm stoked for you guys to check out Rachel's game today. Super impressed with her, and it's always fun to have a new FPO player on the tour.
Hole 2 is 315 feet. This par 3 plays probably 30 feet down the hill or so. Quite a bit of elevation drop from this teeing surface to where the green is. Forces you into a left to right shot. There's a wide gap that's going to add some distance to this one and make the angle a bit touchy. And there's kind of an inside gap that you might see the forehand players take. Let's see what the players like to attack with here on the second.
Scoggins with a destroyer off the tee, going left side of the tree.
Yeah, that's kind of the safe forehand line, just making sure to give herself an opportunity from circle 2, and for Ohn, that can be a really good strategy.
Paige taking a turnover line with the inside gap, but a bit off on the angle. She's hit a tree and fallen short.
Yeah, likely some kind of a buzz there, possibly. Just touchy angle to hit on that inside.
Missy going around the left side of that tree. A very nice turnover.
Ooh. And thankfully that grass doesn't allow too much ground play.
That's a beautiful shot. In the past, Missy has not had the strongest turnover game, so I'm impressed with that.
Ooh, Rachel going for that inside line I was talking about, but a bit too much hyzer out of the hand. That's a line that I feel like you gotta hit it a little flatter with a stable disc.
Paige sends her upshot to about 20. Rachel will be putting from inside the hazard now. Unfortunately, her upshot slid into the sand bunker.
Yeah, I failed to mention that bunker up there on the green. Very close for this FPO pin position. Maybe only 15 feet or so. Oh no, you can see
Oh, Missy Gannon with a very long birdie here on the second. Run it back.
Not even having to go to the jumper and ramps off the back lip. Gets at the stick. That's a putt. I've never seen one go in like quite like that. Have you?
Man, thanks for that run back, Flight Factory. Scoggins misses her putt and also ends up in the hazard. She'll have to settle for penalty stroke here on the second.
Paige, after watching her card mates find the bunker, focuses up, makes a good par putt.
Ohn for bogey from the hazard.
Like with that make for Missy, as long as you play, you think you played so many times, watch the disc go in the basket, but there's always new ways that it ends up sliding into there, especially on a basket that moves the disc as much as these. Oh, that looked decent, but a little bit high and left.
Unfortunately, Rachel Turton will settle for a double bogey here on hole 2. Maybe a bit of nerves to start off at the front of the round. Not sure if she has a lot of experience being filmed. Hopefully she'll settle in here soon. Hole 3, 285-foot par 3. The basket's straight ahead. In order to access it, you can take the straight route, but I prefer to fly. The way the drone is, the disc that will turn slightly over to the right around this tree and hyzer back left. As long as you can get to this set of trees to the right of the basket, you'll have yourself a circle putt. Missy Gannon up first.
Missy playing more direct line. Gets it through the gap and plays it long. That was a rip. Maybe just playing a fast disc, knowing it's more distance than she needs, but with it being uphill, not a bad idea.
Paige Pierce takes the straight at it gap, busts through some foliage, and she's in the circle putting for birdie.
Looked like a passion out of her, and that thing was tracking for the basket without that branch hit.
Ohn chooses a bit of a turnover line with a lightweight destroyer, and she is right in the circle, putting for birdie. Rachel misses the line, makes it halfway there but kicks left. She'll have to scramble for par.
It'd be a fun kind of advanced stat to see on however many throws from the fairway that are actual throws, not putts, what angle a player likes to throw on and how much percentage of the time they throw a certain angle. I feel like with Ohn it'd be like 75% force, like Anheuser angle on whatever degrees.
Ohn Scoggins for birdie. No connection here on the third. For Ohn, Paige Pierce for birdie from Circle's Edge.
Yeah, did a good job getting the legs into that putt and sticks it.
Two strong putts from PP back to back.
Ohn jams in her floppy duck straight onto the pole. I feel like on these baskets that putt, and just the way it catches more chains is probably a really good thing.
Rachel is in for par.
Come spinning in fast and clean on these guys. Hold your breath. Here we are on hole 4. This par 3 is 320 feet, and it gives you a couple different options depending on what your strong play is. The right hand backhand is going to have kind of just a straight shot that maybe just stables out at the very end of the flight, but really if you just push it dead straight to the right side of this green, you can avoid that massive tree trunk that's really going to block the short left side. Also will be forehand and roller options out to the left.
As a right-handed player, I prefer a bit of a flex shot here. I like to angle it more towards that line of fancy pointy trees. Ooh, look at this. Power hyzer right side of the tree. I don't have the distance for that. Paige lands a bit outside the circle.
Yeah, minimal skip there, even though she landed kind of in that dry patch, so. Long birdie look. Maybe not as close as she hoped.
If Missy can hyzer left in front of that cluster of trees, she will have a birdie putt.
Yeah, you know you can never count out Missy Gannon from that range, so she definitely has a chance.
This is the kind of play that I prefer, a bit of a flex line. And Ohn will have a putt if she can stretch out and get around that very unique tree.
Here's a look at Rachel's backhand, just a little bit inside here. I was gonna say hanging out with Missy, but she put it a little bit deeper. Showing off her power.
Rachel from 50 for birdie.
Yeah, undercommitted there. Maybe some low branches. Didn't really look like from there.
Paige Pierce has a circle's edge putt for birdie.
For 2 straight.
Wow. Wasn't that a beautiful flight on the putter?
Yeah, so straight and a nice soft pace. The basket could not say no to this one. Look at it. There's that Flight Factory run back. Don't forget to go get a couple discs. Check out some merch from Flight Factory.
Ohn Scoggins off the front of the cage for birdie. She hasn't had much luck connecting for birdie putts, but her par putts are looking strong today. Rachel will have to settle for par. That's 2 birdies in a row for Paige Pierce.
Just wait for hole 5, you guys. Chef's kiss.
Here it is, a 910-foot downhill par 5. Just look at this. Absolutely beautiful, picturesque fairway. Send your drive as far as possible, probably landing short of these sand hazards. Second shot is usually going through these trees on the right side, landing around the trees. Third shot going into the green. Fourth shot dropping in for a birdie. I have seen big throwers like Jennifer Allen take an eagle here. Paige Pierce up first. It's high off the tee and it has a hyzer finish.
I would argue to say that this hole alone is reason enough to come check out this property and try to play it if you can. I think every player loves playing this downhill shot with the mountains in the back, the massive trees. It's just so much fun. It's what disc golf is meant to be.
Missy Gannon with the beautiful flex shot off the tee. Great distance. And the Pro Tour is actually selling tickets to play the course.
There you can see right there, those guys with the cart. They're playing the West course since the pros aren't on it today.
Yep, you can actually purchase tickets to play the Pro Tour course this week, the East and the West. Ohn Scoggins with a beautiful drive.
Rachel looks like she commits to some turn here. Can it fight? Yeah, pretty conservative from her. Maybe we're going into the bunkers long. It can definitely happen.
Now the next shot has a couple of hazards you got to work around. You've got the sand, the water, and the OB sidewalk.
Oh.
And Ohn has thrown right into that gosh darn sand hazard.
Looks like a good angle, but
She
just
needs
not
to
enough
stay out of the
steam.
beach today.
She does. I know we're on the West Coast, Ohn, but We're a little far away from the beach right now. Let's stay out of that sand. Oh. Leftward kick, hard to tell whether or not that found a hazard. Paige trying to lay out between the two golf greens. It can be a bit of a touchy layout, but well executed. Missy looks like a fairway driver in her hands. Playing it wide, just trying to kind of filter through the tree trunks and give herself some kind of look. And this hole plays as a par 4 for MPO, and I think both as the par 5 for FPO and the par 4 for MPO, it's playing so well right now. Just one of my favorite holes out here. Equally fun as it is daunting. Owen's got likely at least 360 feet to get across here. Out of the sand trap, that was a great shot. Paige finds a good angle on that approach and just outside the bullseye whisker.
Paige will have a birdie look at it.
Ooh,
Rachel sends that up shot a bit long. Could be a tester putt.
Missy floats this one up there and nearly catches a ring up eagle for you guys. Actually, she did find, no, she didn't find the bunker. She was there soon. Rachel going to a knee for the downhill putt. I see some players elect to do that at times. I've never really understood necessarily. I guess it brings you more on level with the basket, and you can just isolate the upper body. So yeah, I guess that.
Paige Pierce captures a birdie here. As a tall person, Connor, you should
I
check
should.
out the
There's time where I'm up
putt.
when I'm up on a
Especially
steep slope close.
Yes.
I could see that being.
Because then you're just, it's like a normal putt. You're level
Yeah.
with the basket.
You don't have to just dive it in there.
But I guess if you're one of those people that putt where the putter goes like really low between your legs, like Kevin Jones, that probably wouldn't be beneficial for you.
No, I'm not. I've cleaned mine up to the belt buckle this season. I've been working on it, but I'm starting to find it. It feels good.
And this is not the putting prowess we're accustomed to seeing out of Ohn Scoggins. She's just not connecting on her birdie putts, and she'll have to settle for a bogey here on hole 5.
Yeah, the greens throughout this track are well designed. They can definitely test you. This one has that bit of a mound, and it's pretty isolated in the open out there. Missy taking the risk. Hole 6 is 290 feet, playing down the hill a little bit, and there's a couple different routes you can take here. It's really going to be a pick your poison shot. There's this skinny shot that the drone's flying. You probably would need some kind of understable hyzer flip backhand if you're taking that, or some kind of a skinny flex forehand. Also going to be kind of a wider backhand hyzer that has to filter through a gap towards the last third of the flight, and if you have that big forehand out to the left, it could be pretty tasty. Paige even busting it out. She's definitely been working on it. Starting to find confidence in it. I'm going to take an inch of credit because I encouraged her a lot to throw more anytime I played practice with her. And she always throws it decent.
Oh, wow. Thick nasty.
Missy with a nice turnover shot inside the circle.
I guess I wasn't thinking big enough. Outside, backhand, biggest line, choose the biggest gap. Makes sense. That inside line's the sucker play, huh? I fell for it.
You went inside through the middle of the trees?
I mean, I didn't play from the same tee pad, so
Oh, that's brave.
I'm flexing it out.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Because we have the right side of it
Yes,
over here.
Rachel. Bring it up. Get it. Oh.
Oh, Rachel finds the massive tree trunk and bounces back. Went from nearly park to tester range.
Paige Pierce for birdie here on hole 6 from about 25.
Oh, airball.
Well, that was actually outside the circle, maybe 35.
Never airball.
Paige said she never airballs. Well, here and there, the inevitable happens. She'll forget about it though.
Rachel, not quite as strong of a putting game as I've seen from her yesterday, but Missy, however, sticks that birdie putt.
Yeah, Rachel probably feeling a little bit frustration when a slow start, and she feels like she throws a good shot off the tee, bounces back to circle 2. Feels like the course is kind of wearing her down, so she needs to score a birdie here soon and start working her way back. Paige taking her time, understanding that every stroke matters, even if you're just a step outside the bullseye. And getting love for the park job is Ohn Scoggins. Good bounce back there for Ohn. Grabs her first birdie of the round. Let's see if Rachel can card her first here on the 7th.
A 450-foot par 4. That's hole 7. Tee shot uphill. You've got this Mando. You need to play to the left of it. Off the tee, get as far as possible. If you can get to this dirt or to the top of the hill, that is primo position. The second shot should go in between these trees to give you the shortest access to the basket. If you're nervous about hitting gaps, you can swing to the right of the trees and go around them. Missy Gannon up first.
Ooh, this looks a little flat. Falls short of the mandatory, but that's not the angle you want for birdie.
Ohn a bit low out of the hand, but center cut.
Paige flags out a bit as well, but with her speed, she is going to have likely missed that mandatory, or if not, she's gonna have to play backwards. And Rachel as well. This one's flipping over on her. Not the tee shots you'd expect out of our chase card on moving day. Okay, so we didn't see a missed mandatory, so all these players must be in this little pinch pocket over here.
And Missy's actually in a position, if she could get it up in there, she could still get a birdie. And hey, that's a putt.
Yeah, a little higher, a little more turnover angle. She definitely could have got that one. Rachel, on the other hand, has to throw a layup forehand, and it's rolling back a bit on her, but should be able to get up and down from there. Man, I feel like these players tried a little too hard on the tee shot. It feels like at this distance, you don't got to do too much. Just get it somewhere up on that mid hill there and try to throw your up shot. But having that sight line up at the top of the hill is enticing for sure.
Yeah, I think also, you know, it's so far uphill and it's such a long drive. You
just
kind of pump it and then you pull it over too hard.
That makes sense.
Trying a little too hard.
Yeah, you're trying to get it there quick, and you'd rather overthrow a shot than that, like this most of the time.
That's a good upshot from Rachel. She'll have a bullseye putt.
Here comes Paige's shot flying in. Ooh, ramps off the basket stand there. Looked to be a fierce shot. She got on that thing.
And I thought Missy had a putt, but it's a bit further away than I thought it was.
Nearly dunks in that hyzer approach there. Ohn from deep. Ooh. She got some really good power on that one.
Oh, did it look like Missy rushed that to you?
Yeah, I feel like she's been putting pretty fast all day on the shorter ones especially. So I don't know if that's kind of her thing. Just try not to overthink the short ones. But maybe she'll make an adjustment.
Three pars and one bogey, and that's hole 7.
Yeah, a bit of a struggle off the tee there on the 7th for our chase card.
You got lucky though, not missing that Mando.
For real. And hole 8, another fun one, but this one pretty tight with the out of bounds on both sides. Coming out of this gap, you're looking to move something gently to the right and have it fade back. You can play kind of low under these branches if you want to be safer, or you can put it up in the air, try to throw a big flex shot. This par 4 is definitely one that you want to get down into the open though, because if you do, the approach is very simple and definitely a birdie that is on the table for all these players, as it played the 3rd easiest on the course. Ohn going to left side, definitely some options over here. You only have to hit one gap instead of a couple different gaps in succession.
Rachel liked it because she throws forehand. Maybe she didn't see that.
Yeah, getting a read out here is very important sometimes when you don't get a ton of practice.
That's okay. I'm in the open. I'm in the open.
Yeah, a lot worse things can happen when you hit a tree at that kind of speed, so maybe still a long chance that birdie for Paige if she can throw something incredible.
When you throw a backhand cool like that, you don't need to.
And those trees are so thick. If you do bust through, you're not going to bust through with a lot of speed, usually.
And Ohn said when you throw a backhand like that too, you don't need to take the line I took. I love listening to her. Missy gonna be in a tricky spot. Let's see if she can dial in the possible backhand anhyzer through that gap there.
Because Paige is uphill, she could still get into the pin and get a birdie from here.
This is actually a really good spot. She didn't get down towards that low canopy, and she just has all the airspace in the world to throw a dime.
In the bullseye.
That was very entertaining. Thank you, Paige.
I think her positivity after the tee shot helped. You know, she kicked a tree. She barely made it 80, 100 feet off the tee. But she said, that's okay. It's all right. I'm in the middle. It's great. You know, and that kind of attitude can take you a long ways.
It's part of why she's a multi-time champion. She finds a way to make herself believe and play the game. Don't feel like a victim.
Ooh.
Looks like it's fighting back, and what a great shot out of Missy.
Especially being hugged up against that giant tree.
Yeah, it can be scary sometimes when you feel like your hand or your arm is at risk of whacking into a tree.
Look at this great position Ohn is in. It's so open over there.
Yeah, just gets to throw it. Only one tree in the way, and she spikes it into the bullseye.
I love the way her sidearms just hit on the edge and then flop out and die.
Yeah, she really utilizes that full flight, so usually by the end they don't have a ton of speed and they just plop on over on quite a bit of angle. Usually you're like, oh, is it going to roll? Nope, just flops on over.
Plop. Missy Gannon with a birdie here on hole 8. I love a birdie on hole 8.
There you go. Looks like she took an extra second or two to stare in her line and visualize that putt. Ooh, Rachel, a little timid on that one, but able to score a par. And Paige with the improbable birdie as Ohn plays it, kind of the textbook forehand way.
Paige's upshot was so good, she had a bag drop in. Man, it's impressive.
Every fan who was in the vicinity of that shot better give it the appreciation it deserved.
3 birdies and a par? Here we are, hole 9, 595 feet, a par 4. Off of the tee, you have a couple of different choices you can make, but your landing zone is probably more important than the flight you take. I prefer to land a little bit to the left so I don't have to contend with the low ceiling or those trees in the middle. You can send your third shot up here into the green and get yourself a birdie 3.
If you can get towards the base of those 2 trees you see there, but give yourself a clean line, that's kind of the preferred landing zone. Ohn skies that one a bit.
Ohn got smacked down from the canopy. Paige takes a bit of a low line.
Oh, does she miss far enough left to get out to the open?
She got kicked back to the middle.
Okay.
Missy taking a nice low center line.
That looks ideal. That's really the shot you're looking for. If you can get to that dirt patch or beyond, you're in birdie zone. Rachel a little overturned, but great shot nonetheless.
You can see if you get away from that center area, it's just completely open over there.
Yeah, if you get left or right, it's pretty wide open. The out of bounds line to the right is even not really in play. Made me kind of rethink going down the middle and just trying to get out into the open today when I saw it.
Paige, having to make the Mando, forced her to lay up. Missy, in a great position, can attack the green if she wishes.
Gaps it and slides up into a putt with a bush in her way. Let's see if she's able to find some kind of creative putting stroke.
Oh, that was so rude. Rachel on her upshot ricochets off a tree into the hazard. And this just is not Rachel's front 9. You know, it started off really rough. She's able to reel it back in and get some respectable pars.
At this point as a player, it's hard not to feel like the course just doesn't want to give it to you, but you can't fall into those thoughts. You got to just stay patient and keep throwing.
Paige did not flatten that out or pull it right enough, and she shorts it and hyzered a bit more than she wanted. It stinks because it's such a stock shot.
It's like, what is going on? Is she going to throw again?
She going to throw again? No, that's kind of her thing. She always redoes the throw after it's a mess up.
That's good. To kind of try to identify what was wrong. Almost fix it in a way visually and mentally and move on. Ohn puts it up there, plays that hole for par after her tee shot gets knocked down and does it masterfully. Rachel trying to chip that one in for par save. Nearly does. Paige for the long birdie look.
Wow, Paige Pierce.
Par save,
Paige Pierce, after that bunk upshot, she saves the par with this massive putt. Incredible.
Hey. Huge putt for Paige. Missy able to find pretty open ground there. Disc moved a little further than we could see from the camera angle.
You know, I like doing putting games with friends because I always do these types of putts. Missy able to capture that birdie putt, stretching out to the left of that bush.
And that'll make her one of only 2 players to score birdie here on the second hardest hole on the course, joining Cat Merch. So, good birdies. Yeah, that putt you're talking about where you kind of go to split stance and just eliminate the legs, use a little bit of upper body rock, and make sure you get the finger pop. Don't forget the finger pop, y'all.
Body rock and finger pop.
That's all it takes. Backhand throw and the putt, you know, rhythmic. It's dance-like, and it's not only a sport, but it feels like an art form, and that's part of what we love about disc golf. And we appreciate you guys for being here watching this front 9 coverage.
Look at this leaderboard. Kristen Tatar holding on strong to the lead. Sai Ananda in second place, and Juliana Korver, 5-time world champion, in third place. man, it's moving day and there's still a lot of movement to be had, especially on the back half where there's a lot more birdies, and I'm expecting possibly to maybe see an eagle. I've got my hopes high. Appreciate you guys tuning in to this moving day coverage. Also want to thank all of you ace runners, especially my bud Keith Johnson, big time contributor to disc golf, especially women's disc golf.
Thanks to you too, Dirty Dan. I saw you in there.
If you want to support Connor and I, links are in the description. We've got a tour series out. We'd love you to pick one up.